All right, let's talk about water damage. It's one of those things that is way, way more common and complicated than most of us think. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you why the biggest threat is actually the stuff you can't see.
So, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the single most destructive force that could hit your home? I mean, really think about it for a second.
If you said fire, or maybe wind, yeah, that's what most people would say. But believe it or not, the most common culprit, the real home wrecker, it's water. And the thing is, it's sneaky, it's quiet, and it creates absolute chaos long after you think the problem's gone.
All right, so let's get into it. This is where most people get it wrong. They see the puddles gone, they mop it up, and they think, phew, crisis averted. But honestly, that's when the real trouble is just getting started. When it comes to water, the clock is ticking against you. Every single minute counts. The longer that water sits, the more it creeps and seeps its way into, well, everything. It just spreads through your home structure, turning what was a small leak into a massive, expensive problem.
See, even after the floor feels dry to the touch, there's hidden moisture. It's soaking deep into your drywall, your insulation, your wooden frames, and that's where the nasty stuff happens. We're talking rot, decay, things that can seriously compromise the structure of your house.
So, how can you spot this hidden damage? Well, there are some classic telltale signs. You might notice your wood floors start to cup or buckle, or maybe the baseboards look a little puffy, swollen. Your paint might start peeling. And that musty smell, that is a huge red flag. That's the smell of mold, and that stuff can start growing in as little as 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, so where is all this water even coming from? You might be picturing a massive, dramatic flood, but honestly, it's usually the everyday, boring stuff that catches you completely off guard.
Just take a look at this. This chart breaks it all down. A massive 40%, that's the biggest slice of the pie, comes from pipe failures. Yeah, the pipes hidden in your walls are the #1 threat. Then you've got weather and seepage at 30%, your own appliances failing you at 20%, and then good old sewer backups making up the last 10%.
So what does that actually look like? Well, we're talking about frozen pipes that just burst in the middle of a cold snap, or that heavy rain that finds a way to seep right into your basement. It could be your trusty old water heater finally giving up the ghost, or your washing machine or dishwasher deciding to spring a leak. These are the kinds of things that can and do happen to absolutely anyone.
But wait, it gets a little more complicated. It's not just about where the water came from, it's also about what's in that water. You have to understand that not all water is the same, and frankly, some of it is pretty hazardous to your health. This is so important that the professionals, the restoration experts, have a whole system for this. It's called water categories, and it's a standard defined by the IICRC. It's basically a way to classify how contaminated the water is, which tells them exactly how to handle it to keep everyone safe.
So let's break it down. There are 3 categories. Category 1, that's clean water. Think a broken supply line, pretty low risk. Category 2 is what we call gray water. This is stuff from, say, a dishwasher or a toilet overflow with just urine. It's got some contaminants in it. But Category 3, that's the scary one. We call it black water. This is grossly contaminated stuff. We're talking raw sewage, river flooding, heck, even clean water that's been sitting around for more than 48 hours can become Category 3. This is absolutely do not touch territory.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty bad, right? But what happens when it's your house? What do you do? The good news is there's a clear, proven 3-step process that the pros use to tackle this. Let's walk through it.
So, what's the path to recovery? It starts with Step 1, an emergency assessment. The pros come in, find the source of the water, and figure out just how far it's spread. Step 2 is all about extraction and drying. They pull out all the standing water and then bring in the heavy-duty equipment to dry everything out. And finally, Step 3 is reconstruction and restoration, basically putting your home back together again. Now, this is super important. The whole goal of this process is to get every single material back to its normal moisture content. And I'm not talking dry to the touch. That means nothing. The pros use these special moisture meters to check everything, the wood inside your walls, the subfloor beneath your carpets. They have to know scientifically that it's dry, because if it's not, you're just setting yourself up for mold and rot later on.
And just a heads up, this isn't a quick fix. You've got to be patient. We're talking about a drying process that can take anywhere from 3 to 7 days. That means you could have giant fans and dehumidifiers blasting away in your house 24/7 for a week. Yeah, it's going to be loud, but it's absolutely what's needed to save your home.
All right,
So you've made it through the storm, the fans are gone, the house is dry. Now what? Well, now comes the part everyone dreads a little bit. Let's talk about insurance.
Okay, this is one of the most critical things for any homeowner to understand. Your standard insurance policy usually draws a line between sudden and accidental damage versus gradual leaks and neglect. So, a pipe suddenly bursting, that's probably covered. An appliance that malfunctions out of nowhere, covered. But that slow, dripping pipe under the sink that you've been ignoring for 6 months, yeah, that's probably not covered. And this is a huge one. Damage from groundwater seepage or a major flood from a storm usually requires a completely separate flood insurance policy. The takeaway here is you absolutely have to know what your policy covers before you ever need to use it.
And if you remember nothing else, remember this. Document everything. I mean it. Before anyone starts cleaning up, before you move a single thing, get out your phone, take photos, take videos, get every angle, get close-ups. This documentation is your single best weapon when it comes to filing that insurance claim.
So you get everything fixed. Your home is finally dry, but is it truly defended? That's the real question, isn't it? Because after going through all this, you realize that when it comes to water damage, it's rarely a matter of if it will happen, it's just a matter of when.